Welcome back, everybody. It's a Thursday. It's Collider Live. We are here talking about things that we talk about. What the hell's going on?
My ears are getting blown out.
Oh, which one is it?
Yellow. Perfect.
How's that?
Thank
Good.
you.
Welcome back, everybody.
Such a diva.
I was asking you nicely to turn down. You're like, no, I'm good.
No.
I'm good.
I thought you were going to switch the microphone thing with me because it smells so bad.
I tried, and then
Oh,
you got sidetracked with that one. And
Just talking to the mic, please.
I said I was going to switch with her, the pad with her, because I don't have much.
Yeah.
I
I'll
realize
pads.
now, because Riley does this all the time. I'm not going to allow you to do it. You got to do it too. You got to talk into the microphone.
Ew.
All right, so listen. Smell that, Brett. Smell that microphone because
Let me smell
Dorina
it.
said it stinks.
Way better.
Does it stink?
I don't.
You don't see
See,
it.
I've got allergies,
Maybe-
Thank
so
you.
maybe it's
Maybe-
better for me to take that.
Is it
one.
bad?
I wouldn't say BO. This is just bad breath.
This is bad breath.
just bad breath.
Because you were smelling your pits. You thought it was your pits.
Yeah, I was like, it smells like body odor.
The
Yeah.
time Roxy had it and I
Thursdays.
smelled it, that was rough.
Is it Thursday?
No, Thursday mornings. I don't know who the last podcast in here is.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
But
Thursday's stinking up the
Thursday
joint.
mornings
Cody,
has been rough.
Who's the last show on Wednesdays?
Give me a second here.
Please
Let me
bring
look
that
at
up.
the
Who was the
calendar.
last show yesterday?
I
Who
believe.
has bad breath?
I believe it's Action Guys, but I could be
Oh,
wrong.
you're right. But those guys don't have bad
I've
breath.
never smelled their breath before.
They don't have bad
They
breath.
were the last show in here yesterday.
I
There
don't,
you go.
I don't
There
think-
has to be a spray for these things,
Yeah.
right? That we
well, I
can-
did, and I got yelled at because I did the Febreze and I almost shorted out the mic.
Oh, so no, I mean
Well, you got
to remove them.
Why would you do that?
Because I was done with it. I was
Christian
over
just
it.
takes Windex and sprays
Yeah.
it in the
Yeah.
mic. Is that working?
Thank you for joining us, Uncle Idol. Guess what I watched last night, Dorina?
Probably something that's not as good as a thing.
Guess what I watched? What do you guys think? Do you think it was what they think it is?
It's not the thing.
What do you think?
It's not the thing.
It was animals eating each other. I watched last night. I don't know how. Oh yeah, this is your fault. This is your fault. Because
How is this my
This
fault?
is your fault. You posted a video of a big anaconda.
It was disgusting, yes.
It was huge.
I had to share it because I
50
was so
foot, right?
horrified.
Or-
It was like Michael
apparently-
Fassbender's penis in Shame.
Yeah, but not pretty.
Yeah, and it
yeah.
was moving around.
Disgusting. And apparently the video was altered, so it was bigger and thicker and longer
Right.
than it was, but it was still disgusting.
Well,
it
that
didn't matter.
put me down a rabbit hole. So then
Right.
what I did next,
I love those rabbit
It was
holes.
the best. So
Literally.
the only
So
thing that was
gross.
missing was a bowl. I wish I had a bowl. I didn't have a bowl. But I was there and I was watching. I started watching anaconda videos, but then I started watching dogs eating snakes, and I saw dogs like going after cobras and
Whoa.
stuff. And the way they were maneuvering each other. And then I don't know how I got here, but the one that fascinated me the most were animals that got the best of alligators.
Whoa.
There was one number. It was a
Jaguar.
The
The Jaguar.
Jaguar.
My
Awesome.
hero.
Yeah.
Dude, this
So
jaguar
cool.
grabs this gator by the throat, kills it,
Rips it out of the
and then
river.
climbs up the motherfucking thing, like
Yep.
the mountain or whatever it is, and he's
The
just
embankment
got,
of
right,
the
He's
river.
got on the embankment, and he's just sitting there, just like, that's my meal, bitches.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, yes, it is. You earned that.
Cats are the best.
Dude, I mean,
they're so cool.
that
That's
was
why-
a cool one. But the other one was otters.
Oh, dude.
Otters were
Oh, yeah.
fighting crocodiles or alligators.
and snakes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but the otters are. It was pretty.
Yeah, they're tougher
crazy.
than they look.
Yeah.
I follow an otter on Instagram called Cartel the Otter.
Who
And
doesn't?
He's
Right.
adorable.
Yeah.
Otters
Or
are
she
the
is
best.
adorable. Yes. Then if you go, so real quick, remember a couple weeks ago we talked about that woman jumping
I
into
would
the
hold
jaguar
on a second.
cage?
You don't follow me on Twitter, but you follow Otter.
You tweet like once a year.
Well, yeah. Hey, so that's nice. I'm good to my fans. I don't overwhelm.
It is
That's
true,
true.
though.
That's
Someone
true.
who someone to follow that you don't get bombarded with stuff.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I'm
Yeah.
still not getting
I'm not
involved.
gonna do it.
Anyway, we talked about the jaguar. The woman, remember, with the selfie of the jaguar that got eaten by, got attacked by the jaguar in the zoo?
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Then you watch that video of the jaguar eating the alligator. That should be like played when you're going into Jurassic Park. Of like, don't touch the
Don't
dinosaurs.
go near this.
Don't
Because
go near the
Because
jaguars.
jaguars can kill alligators,
Yeah.
and they can
100%.
definitely kill you.
Or you
Any-
could just
why
not be a fucking dumbass and
Right.
not
Yeah,
get
exactly.
inside
That
of
is
it.
Like,
right.
why would you go anywhere inside a zoo
No
cage?
sense. No sense. But
So dumb. But
I watched-
anyways, you're watching animals eat each other when
Yes.
you could be watching that while watching the thing.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't do the thing. It would take away from
Spoilers.
the movies. But the other thing, and I always go back to this clip, and I don't know what it is. It is a bit sadistic, and I'll admit it. The zebra one. When you ever see the zebra get eaten by the
By the
gator?
cats?
No, by the
Oh.
crocodile.
Oh no.
I think I've seen it where she's like kind of just like by the creek side and the gator comes up and rips it apart.
No. This crew of zebras are trying to make it, and people are filming them, and they go, and you see the thing go, and it's kicking it off, it's kicking, and then it's fighting its way out, and it fights its way out. But its intestines just fall right out.
Oh man!
And it looks and it's trying to like pick itself back up. It's like it's over, dude.
It's
you're about to you're
it's
about
Bubba and Forrest Gump like
it's over. And the
But
poor
sadder.
thing. No, it's super.
it's animals,
It's
yeah.
super sad.
So-
You're just like the thing has no idea. It's over.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna
And
be
that's-
lying meal pretty soon.
And nature's so messed up, but
Yeah.
I can't stop watching it.
I
So
know.
actually, this is probably the only thing you watch
That you're
that's
okay
actually
with
that
it.
I'm okay with you not watching the thing.
But,
Yeah.
right, that and The Voice.
No, definitely not The Voice.
Would you watch Big Brother?
No,
Cool.
I don't.
Cool.
I don't like any reality TV except for Queer Eye.
Oh,
Yeah,
Queer Eye's
and
amazing.
he loves it.
That's
Yeah.
my jam.
He loves it. Yeah, because he apparently that's surprising because the reason why he likes it so much is because it makes you feel good.
Yeah,
If
You
we
like
were,
that?
if the rest
I
of
like
the
feeling
world,
good sometimes. Yeah,
I feel like you like to be miserable.
that thing makes me feel good.
Actually, that's not true. That's not even
No.
myself say that. You're not a miserable person at
No,
all.
I'm a
you
happy
like dark.
person.
You like dark shit,
Yes,
but you're
because
actually pretty happy.
I like dark stuff. I like horror
Yeah.
and sci-fi because it makes you think about the human condition. And it's like self-help therapy.
Yeah, no, I
That's why I
take
like
that
it.
back. You're actually one of the more happier people
You're
that I
a
know.
friendly dark person.
Yes.
There's no. That's
Yes.
no. I mean, you can
Friendly
you
dark
can
person.
tease, but it's not biting, and it's not. You
yeah.
know that's.
Well, unless you piss me off, then I
In-
bite.
Well,
you.
I'm not
in
gonna
a
do
certain
that.
in a certain sense though, you make a very good point. And like one of the goth people that I went to high school with was the sweetest human being
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
She just happened to like
Like dark
dressing in
stuff.
all
No,
in black.
and I heard myself say that immediately, and I had an argument inside my head, and it was that's not true.
Yeah.
she's actually the happiest person. I sent some text to Riley. I mean, this is juvenile hour, and I'm okay with it. I wanna show you the texts that I sent to Riley.
Are
Voice
they
text.
as entertaining as the thing, or
Probably
better?
not.
All right, so this is what I sent.
There's no
Riley.
way any of Christian's texts
Because you
are
know
better
what
than
you
the
know what
thing.
I normally send Riley.
Is fart sounds.
Farts,
Yeah.
like not just sounds. And so like last night I was like, you know what,
or
I'm
yelling at him about guests.
But
on the live.
this is what I sent Riley last night.
Why are you holding your phone like
to
that?
the microphone.
Oh, that's why. Hold on. Yeah. So last night I was thinking, how can I?
Awesome,
It's like,
awesome
what is
work,
he's
dude.
like-
No, I know
This
it's
is
good.
great-
Hold on,
great-
here we go.
great
Here we go.
content.
Shh, shh.
Hey, for the Angelina Jolie story, I was thinking that if we opened up with the...
No, it cuts off. So
Sorry about that.
Well
Stupid.
done.
and then I sent him this.
Just kidding. I think for the Angelina Jolie story, if we are able to start from the beginning...
Because I know that now when Riley, you in the booth.
Yeah, I'm here, Chris. I'm right here for you.
I got you, but I got you last night.
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
you did. Yeah, it was a good change up to the usual fart noise
Right.
that just comes in randomly. This one had some context to it.
because the reason
Riley, do you ignore or do you actually reply to him?
no, because before
no, I
you answer
responded
that-
with I believe a
he
ha
laughed.
ha.
He laughed because before you answer that, because now when he sees the voice text, I figure, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Riley. Right away he sees the first voice, and like, all right, it's going to be a fart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so when he pushes play, and he's like, oh, it's not a fart. It's Angelina Jolie. So I cut it in half to pretend that I was. Oh wait, sorry about that. And then when he got blasted with it, he was like, he said, oh wait a minute.
You
So-
hustled him.
I'm glad you broke that down because I was so confused.
Did you get hustled?
It's like a 10-year-old. So I played a trick on him.
I get it.
It's like Paulie Walnuts. It's like Paulie Walnuts. Do you hear what I said to him? You hear what I said to him? I sent the fart to him. Do you hear that? You hear the fart? Yeah. What I
You're
did is I
such-
sent it to him. I
You're
sent it
such
to
a
him.
dad.
Yeah, I sent him the fart.
So proud of yourself.
I have an uncle.
McCool,
that-
did you hear that? You hear I said on the voice text?
got it.
I fooled him. He thought it was going to be one thing, and then I sent the fart.
got
You
it,
got
you
it?
got
I
it.
got it.
Yeah.
It's like I have an uncle that will be like, "Hey, you ever heard the story about me at that bar in Oakland?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, so here's how the story goes." I'm like, "Ah, God."
Yeah, it's a good one. So, well, good. I'm glad that because I made him laugh on it. Now every time you get a voice text, I got to try to figure out a new way to do it.
So, speaking of the thing and farts, some people on the Facebook group were mentioning that there's going to be a screening of the thing coming up.
Are you guys gonna go?
No.
No.
I'm going to buy you tickets and then you're not going to go.
That'll probably happen. Yeah.
It's right by your house, too.
Cool.
Darina brought it up, and I told Frosty last night I wasn't going to bring it up, but I have to bring up something that happened last night.
Oh, you are
so
going to?
I'm going
Okay.
to bring
All
it
right, go ahead.
because it was fun. Okay,
right.
so we had a lot of cool fans and a lot of people come out to the screening of Hannah last night.
Yes.
And there was a technical difficulty, nobody's fault. It just like things like that happen,
happen.
whatever.
At the ArcLight?
At the ArcLight,
Yeah.
right? And Thad and I legit thought it was just going to be me, Dennis, and Frosty in the audience, but there was like 100 people there. I would say.
Okay, good.
At ArcLight,
All
you know,
Collider fans?
not all Collider fans, but there was like some Amazon
I
people
see.
that were
I see.
invited and stuff like like that. But so the sound and the visual was like a 1.5 second delay.
No.
So it was almost like you were watching Godzilla. Shit happens, technical difficulties, it is what it is. So the guy comes out, the projectionist comes out, he's like, give us about 10 minutes. And Thad just goes, do some stand up. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, just try out some bits. And I was like, okay. Because I was sitting next to Thad, right? So I get up and I just start like doing crowd work with the crowd. It was a lot of fun, right?
Good.
like there was a lot. And so
Did they think you were a radio host?
Basically, I was like,
yeah.
oh, we have Collider fans and people clapped. I was like, any Collider TV Talk fans, less claps. Any Collider Live fans, more claps.
Was Rebecca
And
Ford there?
Rebecca Ford was not
Yeah.
there, but I did tell the Rebecca Ford story.
there you
'cause
go.
I was
Oh,
like,
you did?
I was like, the last
Yes.
time I was in the theater, I'd gone to see Us, and this girl just stands up and screams, "No spoilers!" And I was like, okay. I was like, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. And
It was Rebecca Ford.
It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. Because she would have screamed, no spoilers.
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Why are you
She
here?
would have just walked away.
Oh no, not one of those. Was basically her first response when I told her.
Right. Which is
and-
most people's response.
I don't
Correct,
like how
that's
she
right.
described you as a large man.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
what
mean,
my wife
I
said,
feel
too. Yeah.
you're bulkier than me,
bulky.
but I feel we're similar
Yeah.
in size.
I
don't
think
feel
she
like
just
like-
she probably just meant adult man.
yeah.
I don't
Because
know.
she
She
was
said
surprised
large
that
man.
you were behaving like a child. Is
I mean,
think she was-
it has
A
sent
grown,
me.
She could've
a
said
grown
adult.
man.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, grown man.
That's
Yeah.
what she didn't. She say like a very
Okay,
large
fine, you're
adult
fat.
man.
I'm kidding.
A large adult man.
You're a fatty.
I did eat a $46 pizza in Seattle, so you know.
It was delicious though, so
It
it
was
worth
fantastic.
it. Yes.
It was. But I sent out the Rasika Photoshop and I put it on my Instagram.
lot of people
and
thought it was real.
blew
A lot of
up,
people
which
thought it
was
was real.
hysterical.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I told this like the Tobey Maguire story because people were like,
last night?
Yeah, last
Yeah.
night it was because we were talking about like famous people in junkets and whatever. It
Right.
kind of like went down a wormhole. And the one person like people were so I just started doing like anybody got any questions? You want to do like a little question and answer? Da 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 da. Ask some trivia questions, whatever. And this one guy was like, "Who's the worst celebrity you ever met?" And I was like, hands down, Tobey Maguire. So I told the Tobey Maguire story. And this woman who I didn't know, she was like, "Oh, we were here for the little screening, but there was too many people, so they put us in here." And I was like, "Oh, great. You guys don't know who we are, who
Right,
anything
right,
is."
right.
And she goes, first thing I'm doing when I'm going home is I'm Googling Tobey Maguire and I'm looking for your interview." And I was like, "Oh, that's great. That's great." She's like, "I hope you do terrible." And she walked away. I was like, okay.
I actually
That's
watched it
great.
recently. I remembered it
The
when I was
interview?
on some YouTube spiral or whatever.
Yeah.
I went, I gotta watch that
Yeah.
Google thing. It wasn't. I mean,
It's not good.
it's not good, but you were trying. I feel it was more on his end of just being tired and just not.
Now, I don't hear
you
great
know.
things about him, and I'll always try to stick up for my guys. Not this time. not this time. No. This, it's not that it was a bad interview.
Yeah.
It was that Makuga starts off, and he's just like, "I hated you in this movie."
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
serious?
More or
Yeah,
less.
pretty much. But it was supposed to be like a joke.
I
like,
got your point.
you
Yeah.
know what my point
But,
was.
is that the first time you're interviewing
Yes.
though? That kind of sucks for him. Like I would be like, "Who are you?"
You
and
see
why
him
are you-
change. His
Yeah.
whole demeanor changes. Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
goes from being like, "Hey, how's it going?" to "I hate this person."
There's a lot of like this
Yeah,
when
he-
answering the question.
he did not want- wanna be there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And also too, I mean, the lead up to the question. I've told the story a billion times, but she told me don't ask any questions about Spider-Man. Nothing fun. No rapid fire. Like
Yeah.
the publicist got in my
She
ear,
put
and I was like,
she put handcuffs on you.
totally.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's when I was like, well, here we go.
I'll
I'm
tell
just
you
gonna
though,
light it up.
My opinion on the whole thing's changed after knowing more about Molly's game.
Totally.
Yeah, so I don't care.
Yeah,
It's like whatever. Because apparently he's not a very nice person.
Oh,
From if you believe again, very similar to what you were saying with the conversation yesterday as you were
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
I don't know Tobey Maguire. I've never met Tobey Maguire. I just know people, and I've heard things from the Molly's game and things of that nature. So I just
This industry is small.
Yes.
Like, you hear if people don't behave politely with
Right.
other people.
All I know
Like
is that he owns a house and he doesn't cry when he writes his rent check, so I hate him.
yeah.
That's all it is. That's all I know.
So you don't like him because
Yeah,
of it. It makes
no,
sense.
don't like him.
So you've been listening to this show?
Some of it.
Some of it.
And you guys have been doing a good job.
Oh,
You've been
thank you.
entertaining me. And then half of it, I'm like, ugh, nobody's there. I should be there to shut them up because they're wrong about stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so that part is frustrating.
Good. Like what?
Like the Zack Snyder stuff.
Oh. Oh, but we
Everybody
don't
in the
really-
comments right now is like, "Blah."
I think that it's more. I think you have more of an issue with maybe Riley and Roxy.
Well, it's not. It's,
because
but it's not just
opinion
Zack
on all
Snyder
this-
though. It's not just Zack
All
Snyder
right,
though.
but for that, but
Okay.
for that particular thing, because I think when Makuga and I are on the same page, we don't care.
Yeah.
Right. No. And I don't care as much as most people,
Right.
but it's not just about him. It's about anytime that there is an article that comes out about anyone, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, as we've talked on the show, the people just read the headline,
Right.
And they don't, or they see a 2-second clip of somebody speaking, and they don't have
they don't get
actual
further than-
context
Sure.
and do research to see what the actual person's
Right.
saying, and then everybody on social media freaks out.
And that's kind of what we were
yells.
going into yesterday
And so-
about what the culture is in general.
Right,
today, yeah.
exactly. And so, but in this case, it's like you guys were talking about why did he say this one sentence, right? And so
You're
I
talking about the
think,
Batman thing?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like it's just one sentence that he said, and everyone's freaking out, and everyone's making Twitter jokes, and some of them are funny.
Yeah.
But I just think that we all have to be careful into like not having an opinion right away when
Yeah.
we haven't read everything
I don't
about
disagree
this.
with you. My thing was with that whole thing. I'm not going to be completely honest. I just tuned out.
Right,
like
right.
when everybody, I can't even tell you who said
Right.
what in that room because I was so bored by
No,
the fact.
I get it. I mean, when you're talking, I tune out too. So,
Right.
yeah.
What did you just say? So, but I just
I
get-
blacked out for a
See,
second.
and that was so
But-
nice.
Right, but what I know, what I'm saying is that it's just that if the guy and whenever it might have been with Watchmen, but
Yeah.
let's just say
Yeah.
he said that I believe that Batman should kill people.
Right.
Then
Which
that's
is not
it-
what he said, though.
I know, but
Yeah.
let's say he did. Okay. Then he thinks Batman kills people,
Yeah.
and that was his version.
Right.
Now there'll be
Wouldn't it
someone
be-
else that doesn't do that.
He thinks
But what do
Batman
you care?
kills
Why
What do you care if Batman kills people?
I mean, Batman's gonna kill someone. I
He
mean,
goes into a room with guns and belts and
I
everything.
mean,
He's
come
gonna
on.
kill somebody.
He's got a boom. He's got a ring. I mean, figure it out.
Somebody killed his parents.
And what's with this? And what's with that sidekick? Put on some pants.
Wait,
His
somebody-
car has bombs on it.
Somebody killed Batman's parents?
I mean, come on. How many times we gotta see this guy's parents die?
He's got a mom named Martha. So does Superman.
Come on. What's the deal with Batman?
Mine was the worst Seinfeld. I would.
I know.
Come in. What's the deal?
I think mine was rivaling yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it because
Come
I'm supposed to make a
on,
Mexican
Dorita.
Jew.
Come
you
on,
go.
Dorina.
I cannot wait. Because,
Why you wear all black? It's not even Halloween.
What's the deal? What's the deal with Dorina? She's happy. She's sad. I mean, come on, figure it out. Put on some colors.
Is she dark? Is she a dark person? We don't know.
I mean, come on. Don't be racist.
She walks into a room, everybody's a little scared.
Figure it out.
Come on.
Why do you
Wow.
hate children?
Guys, they're terrifying.
They are.
How many people are in your basement?
You know what? You know what reminded me though? She said
That
something.
went really long. Good job, guys.
Thank you. What it reminded me though, something that she said. There is a moment that happens that I told you about that I don't want to spoil.
And what?
At the free for all,
Oh.
and it airs tomorrow on the Schmodown channel.
Do I know about this?
Yes,
Okay.
I texted you and you
Yes.
said it's the funniest thing you ever.
Yes.
Everybody here was here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it is one of the moments of the year. It is a comedy moment that we will be talking about on this show in depth.
Again,
Yeah.
so bummed for this reason and this reason only. I mean, I wanted to be there for the fans and compete
Yeah.
and lose just like everybody else, but not being able to be there.
It was
because
amazing.
I've been there for every other JTE moment in history.
Oh
crap.
man.
Did you just mess up?
Yeah.
Did I?
Aw.
Yeah. Well, at least they all know. At least they all know now.
But
Spoilers.
what I will tell you is there is a moment that happens, and the energy in the room is so
So
bizarre
crazy.
at first because this thing happens, and at first it's just like nope, and then the next person goes in like then you take in what was said. And the audience starts to build from a slow laugh to a middle laugh to a huge laugh to people holding their sides and hiding their faces. It is absolutely insane, and it is it'll be a moment that lives in infamy in the Schmodown forever. So and that goes up tomorrow for 2 parts. It's gonna be 2 parts, and it'll be tomorrow on the Schmodown channel. So if you haven't, I have been.
Are you uploading both parts at the same time?
Yeah. So, but I think that'll be. I think the first one will air at like 1 or 2, and then the second one will air at like 4:30 to let people watch the first part. But what I've been getting, and I got this a lot yesterday, and I was excited to see it, is that and I think it's partially because of this show and other things too. People are like I've never tried the Schmodown before. I'm going to now. I'm going to start with the free for all, and there were some other people who said, I want to get into it. What do I get into? Go to triviasd.com and just type, and in the search bar, just type in matches. And there's Bibiani and his crew did articles, the top 11 matches to watch if you want to get hooked on the Schmodown. So that's out there to check out.
That was so fun, dude. It was
a good time.
definitely like easily my favorite live event you guys have done.
Yeah, it was really good.
I had so much fun. The energy was crazy.
Yeah,
I've never
550 people.
Yeah, everyone was just having so much fun. Like it was like you missed out.
Yeah, well, thanks.
It was so fun.
Christian schedules them when I go out of town.
I know. So you will be there for Chicago.
I will be there for Chicago.
And that'll be even crazier.
I think we're going to hit 900 people.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
Nuts.
Man,
And the
FOMO was kicking in.
I know. The Schmodownlive.com. The
Also,
Schmodownlive.com.
shout out to every Collider Live fan that came up to talk to Brett
Both
and I.
you guys,
and
right?
Yeah,
Did you get a
everyone was
lot
so,
of them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone was so nice.
Yeah,
and,
it was fun.
And we got Riley and I. One of our fans gave us records, like vinyl records
awesome.
of The Thing.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
How is that movie? Is it any good?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, you
The-
should maybe
the-
watch
the-
it one day.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Do you know who composed it?
Did
You had
John
it.
Carpenter compose it
No.
also? Ennio, what's his name?
Ennio.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Ennio.
That's it.
Ennio Morricone.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was right.
Yeah.
But I said Ennio. Listen, everything between Mount Everlast, and all this other stuff, my head's been just jumbled. And you think the daughter helped that out? No. She wakes up today at like 3:30, then she was a little monster this morning. I got to tell you.
Monster was the word you were looking
I was going to say asshole, but I decided not to call
You
it.
can
Not
call
to call
kids
it.
assholes.
Yeah, I mean, again, my 1.5-year-old this morning, just everything. This is what I had to do. Wake up in the morning with her. Normally what I'll do is I'll put on Spotify and I'll play whether it's the Elmo thing or the Winnie Pooh playlist.
That's why she's pissed off. Play
Yeah.
better music.
Yeah, thank you, Dorina.
That's what she wants.
Journey live in
You know, 'cause
Houston.
if I don't, and there is a movie mix that she likes too. Those are the 3 that she likes.
Okay.
So one of those will hit.
Okay.
So I said, which one do you want? She goes, Pooh. All right, fine, Pooh. Put on Pooh, and then
Maybe she meant The Who and you messed up.
She meant she wanted to watch Pooh, because what she does now is like she has this little red chair and she walks over and there's 2 stuffed animals where she's got the Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal and the Elmo, and she picks the one up by the arm and slings it, and then takes the other one and throws it, and then she sits down like a queen and she puts her arms down and she's just like,
Yeah.
give me what I want,
Pooh.
and then I'm
See,
like,
kids
okay,
are terrifying.
here's the music, and then she's like, ah! And I'm like, all right, then let's try the Elmo. I'm like, okay. Then how about the movie music? Because the movie music yesterday, this is what happened. Then she gets up and she starts dancing. I was like, good. Then I can make breakfast. I can do everything I need to do. I might as well have made her smell her own diaper. She was throwing her body around and just screaming. I was like, I'm not going to put on any TV right now. So then instead what I did, I go to YouTube. She loves birds, as I've said on the show. I found what they do for cats. And they had like this 3-hour video where it's just birds flying back
Chirping.
and forth and eating shit.
Yeah.
And I just put it on and she just sat there for a second. I calmed her down.
Yeah.
But after a while, if I could translate, I think what she would have said is, all right, enough with the fucking birds.
Yeah.
Let's see some lions
something else.
eating zebras.
It was, dude, everything. My wife, normally my wife can sleep a little bit. She's just like, what is with all the racket? I go, there's nothing I am doing right now that this kid
So
is
it sounds like you're
with.
dealing with yourself.
Not this one. This my older it was a valid attempt to get a burn, but it's inaccurate because the
I don't know. I mean, you'd still disagreed when I called you a baby, so.
What? From when? Last time
Yeah.
I literally said on the show the next day
Yeah.
that Dorina was
So
right.
I
We were
wasn't
acting like
listening.
of course. So,
You said Dorina was right. Can I get that?
on a shirt? Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be the last appearance you ever have on this show for sure too.
Yay! Finally.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Hey, what's the line on Dorina getting a shirt before me, by the way?
Everybody wants shirts, and here's what I'll tell you about with shirts.
Listen, I just want my face on a shirt.
I can't tell you how many Schmodown competitors are like, I think it's time I have a shirt.
Yeah.
Guess what? The shirts need to sell.
Okay.
The shirts need to sell. And like if there was, I've given people shirts before, and they sell 2 shirts.
Yeah.
I'm like, how come I don't have more shirts? Because they're not selling.
Right.
It's the whole point. It's like you got to sell the fucking shirts.
My mom would probably buy 100, but go ahead.
The Collider Live shirts, though, by the way, that's a different animal altogether because that's not my business. Collider is Mark Fernandez's business. I know they're working on a shirt, so actually that leads into this. Go to the Facebook group right now. I'm glad you brought this up. What shirt would you want to see if it was a Collider Live shirt first? There is a Collider Live design, like it's that design, but it's something a little more.
Dorina's is just a black shirt with a black D on it, so it's just a black shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says I won't be here for much longer.
Correct.
Yeah, and so.
Because Christian's a baby.
Yes, and it's just me with like the Roger Rabbit baby just screaming out in the back with the Yankees hat on. But what shirt would you want to see? I mean, I'm sure like a Roxy Can I Come shirt would be something.
Sleep in the hallway.
Be Better would be a
Better,
good
yeah.
shirt
Yeah,
for sure.
that's a good
Sleep
one.
in the
Suck my
hallway.
pussy.
Suck my pussy. Yeah, that one will be hard to.
You could just
but,
do suck
you know.
my and a picture of a
You
cat.
could just do SMP.
Yeah.
But I
I
think
would
that was
SMP.
like a skater brand back in the day.
I just want to see.
No,
No, that's a good one too. No
Yeah.
bread. You better listen, Jack. Is a good one. Garbage. Garbage.
You garbage? You want to call garbage, boy?
Yeah. So there's a lot of them out there. So go to the Facebook group. If there was one shirt that we would launch with, which was the shirt that you would want and you would get, because that's the one that I'm going to tell, because Jack's going to make those live, I guess, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and also my rent just went up $100 a month. So
Did it?
if I handmade shirts,
Yeah.
how much would you pay for each shirt? Is the question.
Yeah.
What would
The margin is
shirt
not
be?
great.
It would just be random. I'd just draw on them, or
Draw.
like,
Okay.
yeah, with
it's
some
like
Sounds lucrative.
doodle on it.
yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'm a horrible artist, so they
Yeah.
would be.
Right.
When you are
By the way,
selling
you
these
both,
shirts.
speaking of free for all really quick, you guys both did an excellent job at your jobs at the free
Thank
for
you.
all.
That's nice of you.
Yes.
Thank you,
so
thank you.
much.
Just, I have to.
What's the
'cause
twist?
What do you mean?
No twist?
I'm just complimenting you.
Oh, wow. Well, this
Yeah.
doesn't. You can understand why I'm
You're a little
skeptical.
scared about
Yeah.
what's about to come.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Um,
just
well, thank
honestly,
you.
you guys did a great job.
That was
Everyone
nice.
was the production team. You guys as hosts, everything was great.
Production was amazing. I mean, they
Oh,
really,
geez.
they really. Not you. You don't count. You were,
No,
you was there.
I gave them props the other day.
I know you did.
Those guys, I mean, to walk into that space and like a skeleton crew, like go
Yeah.
like, okay, what are we gonna do here? It's amazing
I'm
what
telling
they
you,
pull off.
Thad is like Dumbledore
Yeah.
when it comes to production. He just
Totally.
he's got everybody with him, and they just make it work. It was awesome. That's why I never get in their way when like if they say like at one point like Thad came up to me because of the live stream.
Right.
The TriCaster kind of crapped out, and he came up to me and he goes, "We only have one angle. That's all we have." And at no point in my head did I ever go, "Well, can we fix it? Can we do anything else?" I went, "All right,
Right.
whatever you want to do.
Right.
You've made the magic. And you know people were pissed off about it at first, but they understood what happened, and now they see the full edited version tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, but it was great. That and crew are awesome, and I can't wait to see what happens in Chicago, because that's the only scary part with Chicago is we can't do like a walkthrough
Right.
of the theater. So
Yeah.
we got to get there. We got to do it, and plus coming off of that. It's going to be an exhausting week.
Yeah.
When do you get there?
Wednesday.
You get it on Wednesday? Oh, shit. Okay, I get it on Thursday.
I'm the red eye Thursday night.
Thursday night, so you mean like Friday
Early
morning.
Friday morning, yeah.
Yeah, because that's going to be, because Friday is really kicks off, even though Thursday is like the preview night for,
Well, I'm only there Wednesday because I have a podcast Thursday.
you do, on the floor?
I don't know where it is.
Oh, okay. Who's the podcast
It's with
with?
it's Force Center Pod with Ken and Joseph Scrimshaw.
Oh, Thursday night. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing their show. Yeah, that's right. Because Thursday night, you can go see that if you're there. You can go see the Top 10 show, which is Thursday night. Friday is Mark Ellis's 2 comedy shows. And Saturday night, of course, is the Schmodown. But we also are going to be doing it's called the Trivia for Masters, because we couldn't call it the Schmodown right away.
How come?
Lucasfilm had something that they didn't want to call it Schmodown at first. We can release it as the Schmodown. We can, but as far as the marketing goes, they want to call it the Trivia Masters or something. So on Friday, I think it's at like 2 o'clock to like 2:45 or 2:50, something like that. You can find it. Just call it Trivia Masters. 5 competitors. Whoever wins that will play Alex Damon the next night.
Saturday.
And that will, if you can't see it, if you can't be there for Star Wars Celebration, that particular match will air actually on Collider the following week.
Have you announced the undercard for that on Saturday?
Yeah. It's Alex Damon versus the winner of that match. The main event is the Odd Couple versus Who's the Boss.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of a double main event.
Right.
But we're gonna do. But those guys, I mean, that whole show. Can you imagine? Just Snyder's gonna eat it up, because Snyder at the free for all ate it up. His entrance was incredible, and you see those guys coming out. Roxy's gonna have a blast.
Yeah. Oh,
In
yeah.
front of, I mean, dude, this is almost doubling what the free for all did. 1,000 people. That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
And then July 20th,
Comic-Con.
Rachel Cushing at Comic-Con. So
How is Comic-Con already here, man? It's crazy.
it's nuts.
It's
and that's
not.
right around the corner.
It's March
We're
still.
just
But it still is.
time needs to be not exist.
We have 3 more months until July.
It's really like 4 months, but you think about it, though, that's when you got to start prepping for this
But
shit.
we were just partying in San Diego.
I know.
It's crazy.
It goes, yeah.
I'm so tired.
I know.
And
Well-
you guys are way older than me, I think. I don't actually know how old you
Yeah,
guys
I
are.
don't think too much older. I don't mean to call you out, but you're full
Yeah,
of
no,
shit.
I am full of shit.
Yeah. See, look at that. Now that's a shirt I wish we had. That shirt I would buy you immediately. I'm full of shit.
Only if I can have the Christian as a baby shirt.
Fine. But it's actually these are my notes. Animals smell bad. # body odor, and then Zack Snyder. Great
That's
notes.
all you've got.
It's really, it's
Perfect.
brilliant.
Today's opening day of baseball. Just so
It is opening day of
today's
baseball. No, I know.
opening day.
Yeah,
you got your Yankees
Yeah,
on?
I do. And I got to try to. What
I'm sorry, I was asleep.
Yeah.
You're not a big.
You didn't write
you're
that
not a
one
baseball
down?
fan?
I grew up with soccer.
Yeah.
And basketball, and
Right.
then football
But
and
baseball's
hockey.
huge in Mexico.
It is.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Just wasn't your thing.
I mean, it's fine. I appreciate as every sport. I appreciate the athleticism,
But it's not your bag.
But I just don't get it as excited. Like I can appreciate the skill, but when I'm sitting there and watching a game, I get more excited when I'm watching a hockey or soccer
Oh,
game.
believe you me, I haven't sat through a regular season baseball game on television in maybe ever.
Right.
But I mean, there's nothing quite like going to a baseball
Yeah,
game.
it's all about the stadium.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
love Anaheim, man. I love the Angel Stadium. I really
too.
do. I mean, Yankees. Yankees to me are ride or die. But out here, if I've got to catch one, it's either if it's Dodgers or Angels. I'm going to Angels game. I love the stadium. there.
Getting in and out of Dodger Stadium is an
tough.
absolute
It
disaster.
It's gotten better, but it's still
Still.
it's still pretty awful.
My grandma used to take me to Wrigley. I've been there like
Did you
3 or
really?
4 times seeing
That's
the Cubs
awesome.
when I was a kid. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I went to Chicago every year to visit my grandparents, and it's interesting that I didn't get to go to the Chicago thing. But, kind of
You may want to win a match.
Kind of know the city, but
I think you wanted to work. Yeah, I didn't know you wanted to go.
Nah, it's all right. I mentioned that my sister lived in Brooklyn. Didn't go to that one. But we are back.
Speaking of, where's
I'm
Riley?
a salty dog today.
Yeah, Riley. Because what's the news, man? You sitting out in the booth there? What are you doing?
Yeah, just doing some producer work there, Christian.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
wow.
We got some
No.
news going on.
Yeah, we have news.
What do you got?
Yeah, well, guess who is joining the MCU?
Ralph Biscuits.
Ralph Biscuits has
Yes.
been cast
Finally.
as the Eternals. The lead of the Eternals, Ralph Biscuits. We're very excited. We've been talking about him a long time.
Oh wait, Angelina Jolie.
Angelina
I
Jolie,
see.
that's right. She's in talks to join Eternals, making her first MCU debut.
Man, and, you know,
I think for the Angelina Jolie story, if we are able
is.
to start from the beginning,
Angelina Jolie.
Yep, that's the one.
That's my thoughts. I don't know. I just really I don't get. Last night,
Does
Riley
anybody
texted-
like her?
I do like. I thought she's really
dark
cool
like
as
you.
Maleficent. She was
It's
awesome as Maleficent. Even if you don't like the
Maleficent.
movie, she was
She was
a
fine.
badass.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. She's Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, she's. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you think of her, she was really cool as
Yeah.
Maleficent, and she used to be a really cool action star.
Yes.
Yeah.
wanted.
So-
Yeah.
Which is the other comic book movie she's been on.
Salt
yeah.
also, right? Is
Well,
Salt a
no,
graphic
Wanted
novel?
is comic book by
Salt
by
was
Mark
a-
Miller.
I thought Salt was a graphic
I
novel
actually
too.
don't know. I just know Mark Miller because I love him. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's fine. I don't know. I don't necessarily get excited when the big movie stars get cast and stuff too. And I don't know how invested
But
she's going to be.
also
in it,
at this point, like after Endgame, now you're getting into properties that I have absolutely no clue about.
Right, but you
The
didn't know about
Eternals-
Guardians.
But did you know
didn't
about Guardians
Of course, I knew about Guardians
you
of the
didn't
Galaxy.
really?
Yes,
No.
my dad read Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is that true?
Yes.
I wanna go
was,
back.
was your dad a big comic book?
Yes,
guy?
he was,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm saying I knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy
Okay.
at least were.
Okay.
Do you know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
A lot of people didn't
You knew who
know.
Rocket was. I knew that character. Okay, because the Guardians of the Galaxy have been around for a while.
Right.
Now you could tell me the Eternals have been around for a while. Great, but I still have absolutely like they could be like she's playing Curtain Lady
You wouldn't know it.
in
No clue.
Eternals, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
who
they-
the f is?
they've
I don't
been
know who
around
the
for a while.
Eternals.
They were created by Jack Kirby.
But that's
So
what
I
I
have
like
no
about it
idea.
because that's why I love Guardians because I knew nothing about it. And
Right.
it was a new story,
Yeah.
and it was me discovering a
Right.
different world.
I'm kind of there.
Yeah.
For me, I don't mind that they're doing properties I'm not familiar with. That's fine with me because I didn't know about Guardians. I knew nothing about them, and I thought they delivered on it pretty well. I didn't really even know that much about Ant-Man. I was aware of them, but I didn't know enough about it. As long as they have the right team in place
Yeah.
that I get excited about it, I'm always interested.
Exactly.
I'm just not going to go, oh my God, I have to see this now because Angelina Jolie's in it. I just don't think there's a lot of movie stars that do that.
Yeah, I don't really care if the actor's good. Great.
Yeah.
I just I don't go see movies because of the actor usually.
That's changed.
Yeah,
Like we're not in the mid '90s anymore. Like that just doesn't happen anymore.
Right. I'll see TV shows because of Gillian Anderson because she makes good choices and she picks really good TV shows.
You're
but usually
not wrong though with TV. TV is more of the movie star platform now because you can't. For example, again, we talked about Julia Roberts the other day, right? That Homecoming show. Like I don't know if any people watch that show as much if it wasn't Julia Roberts.
I agree.
Inside, I mean, you'd probably still get people to watch it with enough promotion, and maybe you can get another star. But more people tuned in for that because of Julia Roberts. And the flip side of that
kind of goes back to what we were talking about with The Rock yesterday and that Titan games and Kevin Hart with TKO.
But the flip side of that too is not a lot of people went out to see Ben is Back because Julia Roberts was in it.
Right.
Yes. The television benefits more from movie stars than movies benefit from movie stars.
Or do you think it's because we are actual film fans that will go see a movie based on the director or the writer, whereas maybe mass audiences do go see still go see movies because of actors.
The numbers have shown that that's not the case. Like, Will Smith used to be that guy. The Rock isn't even necessarily that guy anymore. He's probably the closest one to it. But Skyscraper didn't, and I like Skyscraper, and that didn't benefit just because The Rock was in it. Right. It's premise.
But the trailer also looked crappy.
But it's premise.
Do you think
that's right? It's the premise, and it's whether or not people want.
How it's being marketed.
Exactly.
Right.
Do you think Danny Trejo's Boots is going to sell tickets?
What is that? What's Boots?
Boots and the Dora.
What?
Wait,
what?
That Danny Trejo is playing Boots. Am I wrong?
No, you might be right. I didn't.
The monkey Boots.
I didn't know that. What?
In Dora the Explorer.
Oh.
Which, hey, I want to bring something up.
Yes, please.
I watched the
I
Dora
already know
trailer. I
Spanish,
watched the
so.
Deadwood trailer. I prepared for one show, and we didn't talk about any of them. So I've given up on preparing for anything.
Well,
I've been waiting for that Boots.
Okay, Fred, what are your thoughts on the new Dora the
I
Explorer?
think it looks fun.
And can we
Michael Pena looks hilarious.
Can we have a Boots standalone, you think?
I think we could do a Boots standalone.
Danny Trejo. Boots of Boots.
There you go.
Yeah, all right, nice.
Where's my ding ding ding?
It's gone. He's shuffling through it, sweating at this point.
I'm sorry, I already know Spanish, so I never cared about Dora the Explorer.
Oh,
There you
Dora. No, everybody's up
it? Your
in
daughter?
arms. My daughter watched it, and I think my son did Diego. Not because I was like gender
Do they
pushing
speak
them
a little?
anyway.
Do they speak a little Spanish?
My son does now because of school, where he's learning.
Is he
it,
still
but-
doing the
but-
German?
Yeah, he's doing. He does a German, and then he also does Spanish. Right?
We should have your son come in here and do the interview.
The lead is the girl from Instant Family.
Yeah. People
good.
are kind of up in arms because she's a teenager, but I mean, I don't think you
How old
would
is she
want
supposed to be?
an 8-year-old out in the jungle. I
She's
mean,
18.
the real Dora is kind of a frightening thing if you would actually put that in a
Trailer's
real
good
world.
though.
Yeah, I thought it looked fun. I thought it looked
And
fun.
what was the other one
I
you
mean,
watched?
it's not. I mean,
Oh,
come on,
Deadwood.
it's on the Deadwood one.
How's
I
it?
mean, I fucking love Deadwood.
Deadwood's
so
pretty
I never got into that
Oh,
show.
it's
you know,
pretty cool.
You know why? Because for the silliest reason to admit it.
Because you watch stupid shit instead of the thing.
Yes, but
That's
no.
100%
The reason why was I couldn't buy the cursing in the Wild Wild West.
yeah.
I couldn't buy it.
Well, the
It se-
language-
it
Did
seemed
you
like-
watch Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, but that's
Then what
different.
about frack and all that
That's
weird
because that
stuff?
fit into the language of the time. But
That's
to me,
where that comes from?
Yeah.
Because
There you go.
that to me, I didn't buy like people cursing like The Sopranos.
Okay.
But they also spoke more eloquently in like lower class, but it was an elegant speak with the cursing and stuff. I loved the dialogue in Deadwood. I thought that made it for me. A
lot of people did.
A lot
I
of
just
times it
never
was
got
kind of
into it.
hard to
Yeah.
understand what they were talking about, but
I tried to binge. This was probably like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I really tried to binge Deadwood, and I got through like 4 episodes and just couldn't care less about the show.
Right.
And I just turned it off. And I get it. People love Deadwood. For a Western, I watched that Jeff Daniels Western, Godless, and that was great. But I knew it was 8 episodes. I guess the daunting task of having to sit through.
You're not a big Westerns guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I
either.
hate Westworld, mostly for the robots, but I also hate Westerns. In general, I like Tombstone. That's probably the only Western I really, really
Right.
like.
And that's,
Yeah, I like Tombstone and then
Young Guns.
the Clint
Young
East-
Guns,
well,
obviously.
yes.
And the
That
Clint
goes
Eastwood
beyond.
trilogy,
I
the
don't know, I get-
Fistful of Dollars trilogy.
Right.
it was
And,
like nothing I've ever seen. So that's I
yeah.
mean, it was just something.
Yeah.
I was hooked immediately.
A lot of people love that. So obviously that's why they're making a movie, and it's a prequel. Because
No.
no, it's not.
Timothy Oliphant's in the show.
He is in the show.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Yeah,
thought I haven't seen him. I haven't seen it. I thought he died in the show.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, don't.
It's been a
tell me.
long time
didn't
since I've
finish
seen
it,
it.
so-
Yeah, don't.
I never finished
Yeah,
it.
I don't. I think I've watched 45 minutes of an episode, so I don't know.
You know what's a good Western, though?
What's that?
Back to the Future 3.
Yes.
It's probably
There you go.
the best Western.
100%.
Ever. Okay. All right, moving on.
I mean,
right.
if we're talking about westerns, though. What's that one
What?
that came out with Chris Pine recently? It was like sort of a modern day western.
That I love.
Hell or High Water.
I love that
That
movie.
movie's
that was-
It is a
incredible.
modern day
Yeah.
western
Yeah,
for sure, and
yeah.
I love that movie. That movie I saw that movie in the theater twice, and then watched it twice when it came out on Blu-ray. I
Yeah.
love that movie. It's
Yeah.
such a good movie.
Too many horses in westerns.
It's true.
Well,
Right?
not against
Would you-
horses.
I hate
I guess a
horses.
modern western also would be The Rider.
Yeah.
right? Because it's a modern type of western.
Sure,
It's different.
totally.
But that movie, and I'm bummed by the fact that a lot of people called me out on it, and rightfully so. I didn't put it in my top 10. And I should have. It should have. Yeah, it should have been my top 10 for sure. It just when I was making that list at the end of the year, I was going through and forgot about it. That's a movie a lot of people should see.
Totally.
for sure.
That's a very well done movie.
Riley, what else we got? Anything good?
Yeah, so the Oscars, right?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they are probably going to next year go without a host again.
Smart.
They thought it worked very well, so they're considering keeping that format.
Why wouldn't you? For two reasons. One, the ratings have been up. Two, why deal with the headache
Yep.
Sure.
of everybody telling you that A,
I don't know about that.
what are you doing
Yeah.
with this person? B,
It's
like,
cheaper to produce.
You don't have to pay.
Oh, you're gonna do another white guy? Oh, you're gonna do another girl? Like it's
Yeah.
nobody's ever friggin'
And
happy.
as much as we were all talking crap before the show, and we are like, "Oh, it's going to be such a shit show," it actually was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It moved. It
they
moved
didn't need
a lot.
host.
My
It
Yeah.
moved a
favorite
lot
part
faster.
of the show was at the end when Julia Roberts goes, "Oh, I guess that's it. Thanks for
it.
watching." You're
Yeah.
like, "Great."
It,
It was
because That's
amazing.
all the show should be.
Correct.
It's not what it used to be back in the day, and you just move people in. And I actually thought it was very interesting to bring all walks of life in there, as opposed to just movie stars. You have you got athletes and
Totally.
whoever. What's his face from Rage Against the Machine? Tom Morello was
Awesome.
Yeah, he was up there.
And he's
also,
the best.
You love Tom Morello. You
I love
interviewed him,
I
right?
did interview him. He's the best interview I ever had. He's so cool.
He's my
He's
favorite.
the nicest guy.
He's probably the second. I mean, if you look at originality in guitar, right, as far as bands go, you can look at like Stevie Ray Vaughan. But Tom Morello and Eddie Van Halen changed how guitars sound.
Yep.
My favorite
He's a
performance
revolutionary
by him.
guitar
Yes.
player.
Yes.
And you want to hear something great from him that I don't know if a lot of people. I don't know because I know you're like a hardcore fan. You might know about this. You might not. I actually went to see Bruce Springsteen in Anaheim. I think it was like 2009.
Oh, did you see him with Tom?
And Tom came out and played the
man.
Ghost of Tom Joad.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Have you ever heard
Yeah,
his rendition?
yeah.
The Ghost of Tom Joad with Morello and Springsteen. It's a better version than Springsteen's version of it. It's great.
One of the questions that a Google employee wanted me to ask him was, what was better for you, either playing with Bruce Springsteen or when the Cubs won? And that was actually difficult for him to answer.
Yeah, it was. That's good. Yeah, because he came out, and it was. I can't even tell you how many times.
It's just duct tape under there. Do
yeah.
not.
Yeah, it's gonna go sooner or later. So what the hell?
Did you ever see though? So did you ever see Rage Against the Machine when?
No, I never saw them. No.
So I was like 16 and went up to Penn State to visit my brother, and they played with Wu-Tang Clan. Rage Against the Machine put on the craziest show ever, and Wu-Tang Clan was 4 hours late.
Wow.
Played one song and left.
Are you serious?
Yep.
That's good. Yeah.
Yes, this is one of the greatest songs ever made.
Oh, so good. I just didn't get to see
lot
many
of drunken
concerts because
nights in
remember I
college
didn't
for that
live
one.
here.
That's true.
I didn't
Yeah.
move to the States till 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You should have moved here earlier.
And by
You
then,
could've
Rage Against the
seen-
Machine
I
broke
know.
up. What? No, 3?
I
Like
know,
they were
yeah.
they were
Yeah.
pretty much done by then.
But so anyway, it goes back to the point that Oscars should absolutely bring in more personalities like this, do something different because you don't need the headache. You don't need the
Why are
headache.
you going back to the point?
And
Kevin
also,
Hart, no. Kevin
plus
Hart-
they also still suck because they give awards to bad editing.
Yeah.
Right. What do they give it to Bohemian Rhapsody? Yeah. I know
Just
you-
take all those awards out. Shorten the show. Just
Well,
put them on.
they tried to do that, and then people went nuts. What else, Riley? Is that it?
For all the
how's it
Alien
going?
fans out there, celebrating the 40th anniversary, and 20th Century Fox is releasing 6 shorts made by up-and-coming filmmakers, all set in the universe.
Is it canon?
I don't know. That's a good question. They're not saying, but you know what? 20th Century Fox is all hosted on IGN. I believe it. You could say it's going to be canon because it's 20th Century Fox is backing this.
Yeah, I guess the bigger question is:
Yeah,
Will
but-
Disney continue the Alien franchise? Is the better question here?
They
Let me ask you-
better-
I would imagine.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this.
I mean, Prometheus and Covenant are canon.
They're all right.
Yeah,
So, and they're not.
but the question is, they didn't really make that much money the last one anyway. So is Disney going to continue with it? They have the properties. Riley, what do you want to ask?
What if these things really take off? Are they monitoring this and going, there is an audience? I mean, shorts it's a little hard to monitor that. But
Yeah.
if it really blows up, could Disney kind of look at that and go, we'll see. Maybe we can make more Aliens because,
Sure, I mean, that's certainly a possibility.
we're going to get Deadpool as is over on Disney. They're going to figure something out.
Because of what you just said, though, Deadpool right now it ain't broke.
Right.
So
But Alien is
But
right
Alien's
now.
broke.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the guy who really brought it to life the first time in Ridley Scott is ultimately the reason that it's starting to stink up again. Because look, the thing with Ridley,
I don't know about that.
well, I'll tell you why I think that, because Ridley Scott was having, I don't think anybody can argue that he was having a string of bad movies for a bit before he hit with The Martian. Then because everybody was talking how bad Ridley Scott was again. He's lost the magic. He's not there. Then what's the one? The Counselor was atrocious.
Did you guys like Prometheus?
Prometheus was a well-made movie, but I did not like the film.
Okay. Fair enough.
But there's a lot of people who are on the opposite side. It was good to set up the mythology, I thought.
I thought it was a cool sci-fi movie that ended kind of crappy.
Yes,
but
I think it's set up. I think it was a good prequel. And
Yeah.
people argue that it wasn't a prequel, and it's clearly a prequel.
It is,
I mean,
yeah.
it
It
clearly
was
is.
fun. I liked it.
I
Yeah,
liked
but it set it up fine. But then the reason I say that he's more responsible because they were going to have Neil Blomkamp do the direct sequel to Aliens, and
which is cool.
which is essentially what they did with Halloween. And what's going on, Makusa?
I'm looking. So, Body of Lies, okay.
Yeah.
Robin Hood, The Counselor, Exodus, Gods and Kings, right?
Yeah.
Then he had Martian, and then
That's
Alien
right.
Covenant.
Well, you said
so-
Martian, right? The
Damn,
Martian.
he's like a Tim Burton.
He was doing a lot of stink. Yeah, but he hit with the Martian. It was like, oh, Ridley Scott's back, yay!
Right.
Right, and that was it.
Right.
But then even before, so American Gangster, which I really liked.
Yes, it was
So
fine.
he's got like that one every 4, because before that, A Good Year,
Right.
All the Invisible Children,
See, he's
Kingdom
had more,
of Heaven.
He's had more stinker. Though Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I like that.
but anyway, the point is, then he got, and it was Ridley Scott is back, and they give Ridley Scott the Alien. He's doing Alien again, and he pretty much just tells Blomkamp, "You're not doing your thing. Bye bye. That's over now. I'm gonna continue Prometheus,"
Right, which is kind of.
I happen to like Covenant. I think I'm like the only
I
person.
love half of it.
Yeah.
And I hate half of it as well.
The thing with Covenant to me, it felt more like an Alien movie than the previous. But I mean, hardcore Alien fans hated it.
Yeah,
a lot of people did.
I'm a hardcore Alien fan,
And you didn't hate it.
I
So-
will because I like the sci-fi aspect of it. I
Yes.
thought the horror aspect, which is like these cheesy like CG alien like xenomorphs that
Yeah.
were not scary, and everybody in the movie, like all the characters were idiots, So
Right.
it was like kind of like half of it was like a bad horror movie.
It was.
Whereas
definitely.
like the stuff with Michael Fassbender's character, that was some cool like who created us,
Right.
like human condition type stuff. Like that was really cool.
I agree.
I gotta tell you, I was very bored by
bored,
both
huh?
movies.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people were bored.
There was
with
a
it.
dog barking the whole time.
Cody,
Oh, yeah.
Cody, you
That's
an
a
Alien
different
fan?
level of boring.
Yeah, I'm not like a hardcore, but I enjoy both Prometheus and Covenant.
You did. And Riley,
Yeah.
what did you think about Covenant?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I love Prometheus. I really loved what he was going for, and I wanted more of that in the second one. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Dorina. I thought there was really good stuff happening, and then it kind of fell apart at the end.
Right.
Right. Cody, did you happen to pull that Denzel Washington clip yet?
Denzel Washington. Yeah. Denzel Washington.
I love that clip
That's
so
that's
much.
a billion times better than Win a Goldfish. In my opinion. I love that.
The Denzel Washington.
Yes,
yeah.
it's incredible.
Any single time we talk about him or anybody,
definitely.
it has to be played.
Denzel Washington. Yeah. Denzel Washington.
It's really good.
That makes
the
me
second
happy.
I heard
Yeah,
the first time I
it's
heard
good.
it, all in my head, I was going sound clip.
Yes.
That is such
Now
a-
that's all I'm gonna think when I see
Denzel
Denzel Washington in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington.
Yeah. That to me, I can see it at a live event. People saying Denzel Washington. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Riley, that's everything with the news.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Pretty
it.
much
That's,
it.
Endgame. We're going to
Oh,
talk
right.
about that
Yeah.
in a little bit.
Oh,
Unless
they're
you want to
still
talk
making
now.
No, let's see. What time is it? It's 10:48. No, we can BS a little bit. Anything else? Like, what's the big movies coming out this week? Dumbo. Did you wind up seeing it?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna see it hopefully soon.
Yeah, I wanna
Maybe
s-
this next
I'm
week.
curious what you
I'm
think
gonna see
about
every
it.
Michael Keaton movie.
Yeah, no, and which you should. And I
Favorite Michael Keaton movie?
I want to see every Michael
I
Keaton.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
what's
asking
your
me.
favorite?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Mr.
it's
Mom?
hard. I mean,
Mr. Mom's
well,
great.
there's a difference between favorite movie and favorite performance,
Gung
right?
Ho.
Because favorite performance, Beetlejuice.
Okay.
He's amazing in Beetlejuice.
Totally.
Favorite movie. God, that's so hard.
Have you seen Gung Ho?
Yeah.
Have you seen Mr. Mom?
Yes.
Have you seen the 1989 Batman?
Of course. Well, see, I love, but you guys.
He was good in Spotlight,
I
too.
love
Spotlight, great.
half of. I love Spotlight.
Great
Founder.
Spotlight.
I love half of Batman Returns. You know that. Like I love most of Batman Returns.
See,
So-
to me, that
it's-
surprises me. I'll tell you what,
Why?
that you don't love it because people.
No, I love that movie.
Oh,
I
you
just
do?
there's stuff that I have like the
'Cause I don't
Penguin
love that
stuff.
movie.
I know,
Not
but
a big fan.
anything with Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer is
Yes.
amazing.
To which
It's
I
the
agree with.
best
My Life.
Batman stuff. What?
My
It's
Life.
in my life.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
That's a
good.
great
He,
one.
I just it's like picking children. Like he's
Jack
good in
Frost.
everything.
Have you seen Jack Frost?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Herbie Fully Loaded.
Yeah, Multiplicity.
Multiplicity.
He's
is
awesome
incredible.
in that
So
movie.
you really have never missed one of his movies.
No.
So you're gonna see
I
this one.
love him.
Yeah.
Do you know where he's from?
No.
Pittsburgh.
Is he?
It's anytime Makuga asks you, do you know where he's from?
Yeah.
Just answer Pittsburgh.
Come on.
Yeah, that's it. He never asks.
Have you guys ever
Here's
interviewed
something
him?
you'll never hear. You know where he's from? Pittsburgh? No, Canada.
Yeah.
You're never gonna hear that.
Nope.
It's always Pittsburgh.
Have
Always
you guys
Pittsburgh.
interviewed him?
No. They've not
He
interviewed
is
him.
he is a
elusive. I'm
he's
just
very
kidding.
elusive. He does not like the press. He does not like being interviewed.
'cause
He's
Which is
kind of
why
a
he had
curmudgeon.
Mark Maron had him on his podcast once.
Yeah.
It was like
Oh,
an
really?
hour and 15 minutes. It was a great interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right when he was coming back into what a Birdman, obviously.
Right.
I-
Yeah. That's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
I carded his girlfriend when I was working
Oh.
the door of a bar, which was very awkward.
How'd you know it was his girlfriend?
He was with her.
Oh.
He sure wasn't like a
I
daughter
noticed
or
him,
something?
Yeah.
and she looked rather young, so
Yes.
I had to card her,
Okay.
and it was.
Did he get mad at you?
But it was like I saw her first, and then I looked at him, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro." Oh.
You know, he started at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
That's where he began his career. He was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the only person that I would be like freaking out about if I met him.
We got to get him in here.
He's the coolest.
I want to see you freak out.
No.
Yeah.
I'll just hide under the table and
No, you
break
do.
it. I'll hold the table. And,
You'll be holding
Yeah.
it up like
Legend.
Mount Olympus.
yeah.
The best.
But yeah, so Dumbo's coming out. I'm gonna see it. What else is coming out? I loved Us. You guys didn't love Us. Huh?
No.
I loved it, man. It's so
just
good.
didn't think it was clever.
Kuga liked it.
I'm the wrong audience, but I also did not like it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I liked it.
I
think
saw
it's-
it for a second time and
Really?
I love
See,
it even more.
Directing and music, yes. Story was so predictable. and-
No
But
spoilers!
it's not about the
story?
whole. No. It's not about predictability. It's about. It goes
The
deeper than
milkman,
that.
the paperboy,
No,
evening teas.
nice.
Right.
It goes deeper than that. It's about like, are we as humans scared of ourselves the most?
Yeah,
you
I
know,
get it.
are we like? There's this whole like deeper psychological
Sure, but
thing going on. that's not,
tell me a story that's not predictable.
But also,
that's all. That's,
but also,
that's all I'm
quit
asking
trying
for.
to jam simile and metaphor down my throat. Like, quit
But
trying
that's
to like
what
make.
makes a good story.
No, it doesn't.
Sometimes.
Have you ever seen Bad Boys 2? There's no metaphor. There's nothing. Have you ever seen Gung Ho? There's no metaphor. There's no
That's
nothing.
why you don't like the movies I like.
I love Gung Ho. I just mentioned
Oh,
Michael Keaton.
right,
Michael.
right.
There is a ton of
No, I
movies
just-
out there that don't have metaphor and trying to jam it down my throat. Like the rabbits mean life, and life is red shirt, and they
No.
all got scissors.
No.
Where the fuck did the scissors come from? Where did all the red outfits
not
come
about
from?
that.
Was
lot
there
of
a
that-
seamstress down there?
A lot of that point, though, I
missed all of what that was about.
But no, a lot of it I agree with it. But I like symbolism in movies as long as it doesn't take over the movie. And if there's a mixture of both, for example, a lot of symbolism that I think is a brilliant movie is District 9. District 9
District
is
9's
That's a
great.
great movie.
It's done wonderfully. It's a perfect blend of both. There's a lot of message inside of that, but there's also a cool
But
sci-fi
doesn't it
story
come
in
across with an axe handle and be like metaphor? Metaphor.
Get Out was another example of a movie that's blends in.
So you guys
a
like
nice,
Get Out better than Us?
Way better.
Well, I just think they're different. I think
yeah,
I think
of course
one's
they're
more
different.
social commentary and the other one's more of a psychological horror movie.
I don't disagree with that at all. But I also think that there's a way when you're. I mean, because it is a throwback to old school horror movies
Yes.
as well. But I do think that
Wait, Us is the throwback?
Yes.
Yes.
And it is.
It's
it
like
is-
70s old school horror.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely,
for
and it is
sure.
filmed. It is filmed brilliantly. The music is out of
Mm-hmm.
control, good, and the performances are great. It's just there's so much, and there's just so much inside of that story. I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely going to happen, and then
Right.
it does, and then there's so many questions like, well, you figure it out what really happened. I don't want to figure out.
Me
what really
neither.
Oh,
happened.
see,
Tell
those
me.
are my favorite movies.
Sometimes
Where did
when
they
it's
get
done.
all of the cages? Throw the rabbits.
Wait,
Where did
wait,
all the
don't
cages?
Don't spoil people. Don't spoil.
But that's like
It's in
superhero
the
movies,
trailer.
though. But
I
that's
know,
like
I know.
superhero
I
movies.
thought you were
though.
talking
That's
about
like
the
when you're
favorite when
watching-
you were talking about the rabbits.
Right,
I thought you went on a
right.
whole.
It's a
like,
That's a
crossover.
good
It's a
movie.
crossover.
It's actually a prequel.
But again, see,
but that's the thing. Like horror movies are like sci-fi movies, right? Like those are my favorite movies when there are metaphors, where you have to
Can you
suspend
give me an
disbelief.
example
Of what?
of like one of these movies with all these metaphors and symbols that you live for? That,
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I mean, I
Which I
guess.
know you don't like as much, but it's
Yeah.
my favorite movie of all time
Okay.
for that reason.
Yeah,
like
I-
anything that is actually making you uncomfortable and think about your life and your existence and figuring out what the hell we're all doing here, like that's what I'm about. Like, yes, I love stupid movies too, but those are actually my favorite movies.
Right.
That's what I want to
I'm
see.
not trying to take anything away from that, like what
Right.
you're saying.
Right.
I'm just saying in this, like a lot of movies sometimes. This symbolism to me just kind of takes over, and I'm like, I don't effing care.
You just want an entertaining story.
Yes.
Yeah. And I agree with that too. I don't mind when symbolism is in there if it's just by the time I got to the end of it, I just had too many questions, and not questions like, again, I bring up The Sopranos to where Sopranos to me
Tons
it
of
ends.
symbolism.
Yeah, there's tons of symbolism, and it leaves you asking the question of, well, wait a minute. Did that? And people hated that too. But did that happen? What could have happened? And then I get that Inception, right? Same type of thing. But this, I don't think was necessary. It's like, because they set certain things up, and I don't want to spoil it for people. They set certain things up to you're like, well, wait. If that's the case, why didn't that person just do that? And they're like, well, because trying to have this
But
conversation.
that's the whole point about suspending disbelief. It's like when
No,
you're
no, no,
watching
no, no. There's-
superhero movies.
it's not-
Like,
it's
why is
rules.
that person flying?
No.
No,
Because
but
the
there
rule-
are
because
no
the
rules.
rules-
But there are
no,
no
no, no,
rules in
there-
horror movies either. Just
no,
like
no,
superhero
there are
movies.
always rules in horror movies, and rules for Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
Yes, there are. There are
Well,
rules.
there's some rules. There's like the main rules of like, okay, don't go to
Don't
sleep.
go to sleep because
but
you've
that's
set
it.
up. You've set
Yeah.
it up. So there are always rules set up in a majority of movies, and there are rules set up in superhero movies to where how does that person fly? Well, they explain to you how they fly. There are rules and there are ways.
But you still have to suspend disbelief.
Of course,
Totally.
you have to suspend disbelief in all movies.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, you have to also tell me what the rules are of the film, because there's one particular thing that happens in this movie that I'm going, well, wait. They show that you could do that already. Why didn't that character just do that again?
Because you're inside the character's mind and you don't actually know what's real. That's the
no,
whole point.
no. It's not. That's not.
Thank you, Cody.
But that's not the point where I'm going.
And
not,
those are
not
the
what-
best movies, the ones that
'cause I
like
can't
actually like
spoil it.
mess
So
with
it's
you.
like, and I'll tell you after the break. But it's like something that I had said. And I was talking to Perry about it. Who again, when I talk to her, thinks it's a masterpiece, and I think
Yes.
that people throw the word masterpiece around way too easily.
I
The
don't know if it's a
Godfather
masterpiece, I
2
just
is a
loved it.
masterpiece.
Godfather
Okay?
2?
The Godfather
Yes.
2 is definitely a masterpiece.
Right. So to me, I don't think it's a masterpiece. But I said, and I'm asking these questions that I had, and she's like,
Right.
"Well, you
That's
have
a
to kind of-
masterpiece. I'm out.
She's like, you have to kind of think about if this thing happened, you might have. I'm like, I don't want to know about might. This is a particular plot point that should have been explained. The other thing I want to talk about too, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because I know that socially I'm not allowed to, but like, and I want to know your opinion on this. So Jordan Peele yesterday came out and said that the statement that he made was that for as long as he's making
right,
movies,
right.
he's not going to cast a white guy in the lead role. He said because he's seen that movie already. I think this goes back to the same point about Brie Larson that I made. Like Brie Larson, who made a great point, I think, about the fact that there need to be more people being included in these press conferences. I just think that she went about doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I think that she
because it's hard to speak words sometimes properly.
because I think that Jordan Peele, this is my personal opinion, and whether you want to come and yell at me and say that all this stuff, my personal opinion is that he could have done exactly what he had said, just done it.
Oh, this still smells bad.
But he could have. But he could have just.
But I switched with you.
But I mean, he could have just done it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
like
Yeah.
to where he could have said like, if someone blatantly asked him, "Will you ever have a white person in your movies?" He could just answer the question of like, "I like the way I'm making movies right now. I'll probably continue to do the way that I'm doing it."
And he does have
Point
white people
made.
in it.
It's
He just means
reverse
he didn't
race.
want some. He doesn't want to hire somebody in the lead role. Is what he
It's
said.
it's racism no matter what. When you put, because yesterday I got attacked on Twitter by a person that said you can't attack Diana Ross for being a strong black woman supporting a black
has nothing
man.
to do with
That
race.
has nothing to do with race at all. Whatever. If a white guy came and said I'm never going to put a black guy in a movie, that he is a racist, he's out of Hollywood. But Jordan Peele comes and said he's not going to put a white guy in a movie. That's also racism.
Well,
that's racism.
and I saw Jay Washington's tweet to it. It was like, "Well, that's been happening for a year." But sure, but
It's
does
just
that mean
the-
that
it's
it's
just
does
the
that
way
mean
that
that
it's-
it's not wrong. It
The-
doesn't mean it's not wrong.
The,
No.
the sentiment makes sense. It's the way that it was worded.
100%?
That's
the
the sentiment is like it's. I think most of these people, what they're trying to do in Hollywood is have inclusivity.
And
I'll give you an
There's
example.
been opportunities for a certain set of types of people for a very long time, and all that people are trying to do is to have different demographics also be included.
Absolutely, and here's the thing though. You know who's already been doing this and didn't make a statement like this is Tyler Perry.
Sure.
Right.
Tyler Perry is somebody who has done exactly this,
Right.
and I understand for Jordan Peele, he's right in the fact that he now is in a position where he can focus
Right.
people that he grew up with, that he sees,
Right.
his culture. He can do that,
and he has that right.
and he has the right to do that. But to say it. To say,
just said it wrong.
But to
Yeah.
say it wrong like that, if he just would have said like, I like the way I'm. If someone said, how come there are no white people in your movies, or white leads in your
Right.
movies, and he said, like again, I like the way I'm making movies. And I'm telling stories that I want to tell the way I want to tell them. And then you go, well, that's the way he
Was
wants
he
to do it.
actually asked that?
I don't know how it came.
Okay,
I don't know how it came
okay.
out, but it's just like,
because that's the thing. On the other hand, too, what we're talking about, yes, like we do need more inclusivity, and I'm glad that you're seeing. I still am waiting for a Hispanic superhero.
Sure.
Like
As you
other
should.
than Miles Morales is half Hispanic, I
Right,
guess.
but still.
But so I want to see myself represented on screen, right? That would be nice because I rarely do, and it's usually a stereotype that I see.
I'm
right?
not saying that you shouldn't want that, and that like.
But at the same time, then it actually does. It's weird, and I'm guilty of this in the past of making like white people jokes, like on Twitter, where it's like, oh, white people do this.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying that's racism, but like you are. Grouping you have a group of people that you're attacking, sort of, even if you mean it as like a funny joke.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of like straying away from that now, where I don't want to be like, oh, like you don't generalize.
Do you
Right?
not
Just
see
don't say
Danny
the
Trejo
word.
as Boots as a great representation of a superhero?
Come on.
Don't you
No.
see yourself in
I
that?
don't want to be
It's
Boots
true.
for
But
Halloween,
look,
Brett.
hey, it's a great conversation, and I know there are going to be a lot of people
Yeah.
that. And I get it too, and to where, like I said, when I mentioned Jay Washington's tweet, they said, well, people get up in arms because he said this. Well, guess what? It's been happening to us forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away that it's been happening to you forever. It just means that it shouldn't be done by anybody.
Correct.
Just by anybody.
Just try to be careful with the words, and it's hard, and that's why I don't fault Jordan Peele either, because like I also mess up my words all the time. But it is important to also, like Josh was saying, like don't generalize, right?
It's
Don't
not-
say like white people this.
It's
you
not
know?
like the Lauryn Hill when she came out and she's like, I don't want white people listening to my music, right? It's not. He's not saying that.
No. He's just saying that he's seen that basically what he was saying was that we have not been represented for a very long time, and the majority of movies that I've seen kind of growing up have had white leads in them forever. I am in a position of power right now that I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I can give more opportunities to people of color. I can do that now, and I will continue to do that because those are the stories I want to tell. He says that, I go, I get it.
Right.
I get it. But
It's
when-
just because he said the word.
yeah,
white.
I feel weird. I'm like, should I not be watching? Should I
Right.
not be like watching? His, like,
Right.
what should I do? Like, does he not like me? And he's like, oh, I like him. I've just seen those movies before. I'm like, oh, I feel weird.
Totally.
I feel
I'm
like he
with
doesn't
you,
like
dude.
me.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and I know,
And
he
I
said
get-
that. He said that straight up. That that's not the case.
Right.
And it would be the same if anybody said anything about where it's like Mexican,
other race,
Indian,
right.
whatever. It's like, I'm not going to put anybody in my movie that's white. I'm not going to put anybody in my movie that's Indian. It's all still racism when you boil it down to it.
Well,
it's racism.
Well, but there's also levels of racism, right?
Totally.
Like
It's,
there's
I think it's more ignorance than anything
exactly.
else.
Like
too.
I don't
I
necessarily.
don't believe I don't
equate-
believe that Jordan Peele is a racist.
course not.
I
Yeah.
don't. I think that he said. I just said like I said. I just believe that he has gotten himself, because of how creative he is, because of how talented he is, he's been able to put himself in a position now that he can do what hasn't been able to be done for a very long time.
You're right.
And he has the right to do it. But like you said, and the same thing with Brie Larson, it's just the way you say things. And I understand a lot of people are like, well, this is finally someone's saying it. Someone's able to say it. But it doesn't help the overall problem, because no matter what, somebody like me, I'm not mad. I just feel, I'm like, hurt by the statement, you know, and it's just one of those things to where, and you can say, "Oh, too bad, you're hurt," but regardless, there are a lot of people that are going to be up in arms for that, and it doesn't need to be.
Exactly.
Because if I would have hurt
Because you can make those
Stop
statements.
the polarization
Yes.
of it
Right,
all.
but because you can make those statements without excluding anybody.
Right,
Right.
totally. Right.
Because you can give opportunity to people that do deserve it. Because, like I said, a lot of us haven't seen ourselves as represented as you guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't need to exclude you guys either.
Exactly, because here's the thing.
We're not trying to exclude
because
anybody.
I'll tell you what right now. I don't want to see a white lead in his movies.
Yeah.
I think what he does, I think I've learned more about, because from culturally what he has set up, the way that he has set up his characters, interesting people, interesting families. I've seen and I feel, and I've related to a lot of those families as well too. And what he set up in the characters and what he's been able to do. I can see what he's doing, and I'm like, you know what? Keep doing that. But it's when it was said, it's just weird.
I mean, I did have a problem also with like every rabbit in his movie was white.
Yeah, right.
There you go. All right, listen, we're going to go to break, and I have an ice
A
cube.
little backhanded.
Yeah, we are going to go to break. When we get back, we're going to talk about Avengers. 3 hours long, trying to get this ice cube done. Later. Bye.
Hey, Collider fans, John Roca here. Look that behind me. There it is, Collider Sports. That's right, that is happening. We've got some great programming on there already. For those of you that have already watched, thanks so much. We got so much coming down the pike. We're talking about NFL. We're going to talk about NBA. There's plans about NHL. Golf is in the equation now. And, of course, the Premier League show that I host with Jack Hind, that's been in motion for the last couple of weeks. And then an MMA show is on the way from Dennis Zhang, me, and Jay Williams. All those things are happening here at Collider. And look, we want to hear from you, so we want you to listen. We want you to watch. If you're a sports fan, even if you're not a sports fan, we might entertain you, teach you something new about a sport that you may not have known much about, or maybe so deep into it that you wanted to learn even more about it. We've got you covered. You can do that. Follow us on iTunes and on YouTube. You can there watch all the shows or listen to all the shows that you want, and then leave us comments and rate the shows as well and review them. And then let us know what other sports you want us to cover. Look, we're not touching rugby. I'll just tell you that right now. That's as far out as we'll go, or cricket. But maybe in the future, if we go Collider worldwide, that's certainly a possibility. But for right now, Collider Sports is there for you. Take a look at it, take a watch, and let us know what you think.
Oh, hi guys. It's Perry here, and I am going to tell you about The Witching Hour. It is the show that I host along with Collider.com's Haley Fouch. It is in podcast form on the Collider Factory feed, and we also have the video up and running every Tuesday for you right there on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel. We talk about everything horror. We're talking TV, movies, the newest releases. We talk about movies that are celebrating anniversaries. We've even talked about books. It's crazy. If it is scary, we are talking about it on The Witching Hour. We also have so many filmmaker interviews, really cool stuff. It's all coming your way every single Tuesday on The Witching Hour. Check it out. Collider Factory and the Collider Podcast YouTube channel. Ugh.
Hello, Collider Live. My name is Amy Dallin.
And I'm Coy Jandro, and we host a little show we love called Collider Heroes. And it is all of the things we love about movies, TV, comics themselves, all the breaking news, trailers, photos, but not paparazzi photos.
All of the superhero stuff we love, all of the indie comic stuff we love, all the stuff you had no idea was based on comics.
80 years of comic lore have led to this show, and many years in film and TV, and we're living in a golden age of comics, and we want to share all of that zeal with you folks.
So we talk about the stuff that's coming out, we talk about what we hope is coming out, we do fantasy casting of things that should exist, why don't they exist?
And we do your Twitter questions asking directly to us what we think of certain things, and every single week, since we both actually love and read physical comics, buy in print, we have a comic pull list where our 5 biggest favorite books of the week come out, and we dive into those with you guys.
You can buy digital, I'll forgive you, as long as you're paying for your comics. It's all good.
But if you buy in print, you can bag them and board them, and then they're worth more later, because comics are like certain things from the 90s that are totally worth the value. Buy comics, buy in print. Digital's never worth anything later. Buy in print, keep comic stores alive.
Or we can debate collector's items all day long. We can debate casting, we can debate movie news. We can have all of our friends come join us, as we frequently do. We can ask professionals about their work. We've had some amazing guests come by the show.
Yep. We try to
can catch it every Wednesday.
That are on these properties that also love comics. You hear what it's like from their perspective, from inside, from outside, and this is all with the focus of bringing all this news to you guys. And we're here every Wednesday on Collider, and we love this stuff and want to share it with you guys.
We'll see you then.
Hey guys, Riley here, and let me tell you about the Riley Roundtable. That's right, they gave Riley his own podcast. The Riley Roundtable is on its new home. It drops every Thursday. The Riley Roundtable is a little bit about everything. It's about movies and life and movies and everything in between. I like to have on special guests for discussions like Justice League versus Batman v Superman, for discussions about wine tasting, for discussions about UFOs, and everything in between. That's right, the Riley Roundtable drops on Thursdays on the One-on-One with Christian Harloff podcast feed, and later on Collider Video's own podcast video network. So check it out every Thursday, the Riley Roundtable. See you there.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, one of the hosts for Collider Sports Time. That's our new show there on the Collider Sports Network. It's our flagship show, just like Collider Movie Talk. We get on, talk about a bunch of sports issues of the day and what is burning up social media, what topics are burning up social media. That's what we do on Collider Sports Time. I'm joined by my top 10 co-host, Matt Nost. Me and him, we welcome a bevy of guests every week to talk about NFL, the Major League Baseball playoffs, NHL, and the NBA, which is starting up soon. We're going to talk about that. We also get into UFC stuff, college football, all the stuff that's happening in the world of sports. We're going to cover it on Collider Sports Time. And we're going to take the time to break it all down and give our opinions and our unique takes and unfiltered thoughts on what we think about the sports news of the day. So don't forget to join us every week on Monday for the Collider Sports Time show on the Collider Sports Network. And don't forget to subscribe on the Collider Sports Network on YouTube and on the Collider Sports podcast feed. We're going to bring you all kinds of stuff. Hope to hear from you soon.
We're down one Makuga, and it's me, Dorina, and Brett Sheridan. And I forgot to mention, to let everybody know here, that tomorrow, Friday, March 29th, Shazam in IMAX, everybody. Collider is hosting an IMAX screening of Shazam with a Q&A with the director, David Sandberg, and star, Zach Levi. That's right. So head on over to Collider.com for details on how you can attend the screening. That's tomorrow in IMAX, Shazam. And speaking of Shazam, one of the standout performances from that movie was Marta Milans, by the way. So she is in the film. She plays the foster mom.
Rosa Vasquez, I think is her name. Yeah.
Yeah, and
the character's
to
name.
Billy, she plays his foster mom, and she's coming in, and we're going to talk to her. Thought the foster parents really stole the movie because you didn't really know what their role was going to be. I didn't have enough of a background to know how relevant they were in the comics or anything in general, and they bring a nice warm feel to it, and I'm excited to talk to Marta when she comes in. So let's talk about.
You got enough ice there?
Yeah, you missed to see what I did. So I just go in. They have these bags of ice in the refrigerator.
So weird.
I go in with my two paws and I'm holding them up, a lot of them. So Dorina goes to walk in. I just let it go, and
it falls
like
all
Elsa.
over the table and the carpet.
That's a perfect way to do it.
There you go.
Nice.
So nice for the ice. Avengers is going to be 3 hours long. Endgame. 3 hours long.
They should have intermission like old school.
I just had this conversation this morning. I was on Heidi and Frank, and we had this conversation about whether or not it should be an intermission.
Yeah.
I don't think we're in that time anymore. And the other reason
I miss intermission.
People need to pee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason
and
why
get more food and
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah, but the problem with intermission is, let's say you're on such a rhythm, and about an hour and a half is when you have the intermission, right? And then you're out of it. And you got to get back into. You're talking to people
I
about
get it.
what you saw so far. You're not as engaged anymore.
But when it's a movie that long, you can film the movie in a way that there is a break or like a to be continued.
But I can deal with it. I'm going to be so locked into this final chapter that
We're all gonna miss part of it at some
because someone's
point.
going to have to pay.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, of course. And I think that they'll probably be aware of that too. And that's also a repeat viewing part too. I would guess there is I forget. Is there an app, or we at least talked about an app to where you can pee? You can find.
Oh, right. Where you can
which,
find when you should go
when
pee.
you should pee.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was my idea. Is the bathroom has a mirror that it's in behind the seats, and you can run real quick and come around, and it's a two-way mirror where it's on the other side. You can watch as you're pissing,
And then
run back out, and you miss none of the movies.
And then people can see you pee.
No, that's the thing. It's like the cop glass. It's on the theater side.
Like,
it's a mirror.
It's clear
Yeah.
where you can actually see the other way.
Yeah,
Okay,
but you
okay.
can see from there's a little door, so you kind of back yourself in, and then you run into the bathroom
Right.
real quick. There's urinals there. I don't know for the ladies how this will work. Maybe a little screen
Well,
or
we can
something.
get one of those cup things.
Yeah.
So
What
they
are
do
they
sports
called?
games.
Yeah.
You can watch. You can still watch the game.
Yeah, and it's something where you can do, because I can barely make it through a 2-hour film.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, I'm sure a lot of fans do, when I saw Excalibur on on cable that actually had an intermission. Cable used to have those
Really?
for longer films. They would have
Come on,
intermission.
The
yeah.
Patrick Stewart movie.
It's
Right?
before you could pause television.
No, was it Patrick Stewart? It was a Dame Judy
Yeah,
Dench.
it's
Judy.
the
Yeah,
old school Excalibur and Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It was a little raunchy for my age at the time. I remember it was a little.
This is the stupidest thing. I don't know, just because I'm.
I know that was a stupid story.
No. I'm in an immature mood together. I want to show you something.
Just today.
So Ellis and I, for a long time, we do a show called The Best and Worst, to where we break down the best movie for somebody and the worst movie for somebody. And we're doing it for years. We just stopped doing it around, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. But bring up the best and worst of Kate Blanchett.
What is the worst of her?
Well,
Does she do worse?
I want to show you. I want to show you something in particular
Man.
that it's.
I would like to be
best
the
and worst
worst
Kate Blanchett.
of Kate
Okay.
Blanchett.
So
She's
let's
such a
bring it,
badass.
and I'll tell you. Just scan through it once we get past the commercial, Cody. And there's one particular
No, I
moment.
want Reese's.
Yeah, this is to show you just
Reese's cereal?
two
No, I think it was
commercials.
cookies.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway, I really miss this series, the best and worst that we used to do. We did it for a long time, but just scan through a little bit, and I'll tell you exactly when. Yeah, keep going. I know.
These knuckleheads.
Yeah, keep going.
I didn't know Topher Grace was with.
I know. Is it now? Oh, it's right in there. Go back a little bit. Okay, right here. Just play this part here. Turn it up. Here.
Robin Hood was almost there, but
It's about worst.
Indiana Jones. Anytime I can put Indiana Jones 4 on there, it gets on there. She is playing the Russian, and it just was so cartoony. And I remember when she was cast, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a great villain. And it's a throwaway. I mean, Allison Doody was a far more recognizable villain.
Look at Allison.
This is what I got to work with. I got a guy that thinks, hey, look at me, him, Doody, schmoes.
Watch, it keeps going.
Okay. Well, it is my duty to bring this back to prominence. And I'm going to say that my worst Kate Blanchett film of all time is a movie that actually smelled like duty. I thought it'd be really good. Monuments Men. I'm holding this together. Remember Monuments Men? How excited I was for that movie? Yeah. It's supposed to come out. It's a piece of duty.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Does it keep going?
Yeah.
You're crying.
Yeah, all right, that's good. Anyway, so
Man.
I missed that show, the best and worst.
funny.
Yeah, we used to do
I
it.
forgot. That's so funny. I blocked out Crystal Skull that I forgot she was in it.
Yeah, it's a shit movie. It's a shit movie. All right, Cody, go to the Facebook group for a second. He's showing went back there. It looked like a Del Toro film. Yeah, let's go to are there any questions that people got popping up here? I don't know, but listen. As far as the the length goes for the movie, I don't have a problem with it. The question is though, because there's so many, they're going to put it in every theater, and there's going to be so many showtimes. Will it hurt the box office at all? I don't think it will. I think that people are still going to go see that movie 3 or 4 times in the theater. I saw Infinity War 3 times in the theater.
Wow.
I mean, I only saw it once, but that's because I'm a contrarian.
Yeah.
But I mean, and also it's gonna make the most movie ever of any other movie, right?
Yeah.
Like more than Episode 9, like everyone.
Opening weekend or
Yeah.
in general?
In general.
In general.
Oh, in general, actually.
In general,
you're
it's got to beat Avatar.
No, I just mean out of
Opening
any
weekend.
new movie.
Opening weekend. Yeah, opening weekend. Yeah, I mean it's projected to make something like 245 or 250, something ridiculous, and it'll make more than that.
And that's why they should make Alien movies. Because they already have enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't want to lose money. I mean, you make money by making money.
No, you're right. They shouldn't make these anymore. They've made way too much money on them.
They should give us some of the money.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can I have a little piece of that?
Just a little bit.
Are you gonna go see this? You gonna see this one in the theater?
I don't know. 3 hours for
That's
my
a
bladder is
long time.
They call me shot glass bladder Sheridan.
Did you see the first one in the theater?
I
Or
did. No, that one was the one that I fell asleep with my wife, and then I saw it in like Dusseldorf in a lounge. So I finished it up there. So
see, I can't do that for that movie. I got to see that. There's certain movies you just got to see in the theater. That's why, there's perfect example is The Dirt. The Dirt is a good Netflix movie. I don't need to see that movie in the theater. The Avengers Endgame, I need to see in the theater.
What are you, as a fan of MCU movies and in general this story, what are you so excited or expect to see in this movie, and like what, because you loved Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
I just liked it fine.
I loved it.
Yeah. So so I want to know why you loved it and why you're looking forward to this so much.
Well, I love the first because the reason I love the first one so much, before Infinity War, Winter Soldier was my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah. That's still my favorite.
Yeah, it's because this is my favorite Avenger movie for sure. It is everything that I wanted from comic books and the way that watching all the heroes kind of fight together. It's also, if you jump into that movie for your first movie, I can understand why people are like, there's no real development. All the development comes from the previous films. All the development comes from the investment that I've made. I just think that I think that I was given a promise by this studio. This is what we're all leading up to, and I believe that promise was fulfilled. I believe that when I was watching it, okay, this is the greatest because. Up until, well, it was funny, right beforehand, Killmonger was the best MCU villain. But before Killmonger, the MCU villains have been shit. They've been shitty.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's Loki.
Like Loki, but he's not really...
He wound up turning, like, if wrestling terms, he's heel, he's face, you don't know what the hell he is. But there had never been, like, a real, like, Darth Vader kind of Palpatine type. And Thanos fit that for me. It was Thanos' movie. And see, I thought Thanos had the best story because, and you had to set that up. And it is Thanos' story all the way through. So to answer your question as far as what I think is going to happen, this is, to me, this is a bit going back to the predictability conversation. I'm okay in the fact everyone's going to live. We know this.
So that's I'm asking because I'm like we were talking about predictability earlier and how do you not like it, but it's like I could see everything happening in Infinity War.
Sure, and I feel
like it's going to be the same. I'm just going to enjoy it as like a fun popcorn flick. Yeah. It's just like I didn't cry. I didn't have any emotional investment. Like they didn't get me. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to understand why
you'll be sad if no one actually dies.
Correct.
Right, because the predictability for one standalone film and a story that I'm not familiar with, as opposed to this is a television show, and I've been saying it. It's just a television show that happens to be released in movie theaters. So the same way that I think that a lot of the Game of Thrones could be, you could predict kind of what's going to happen, and I hope that happens. There was a certain character that came back in Game of Thrones, right? That was predictable, that everyone knew was going to happen, but it was satisfying. And so you know that because the other reason why they've told you that they're going to do certain things, Spider-Man has another movie coming out.
Of course.
So you know he's coming back.
Yeah.
You know, there are other Black Panther has another movie.
That's why the poster where Spider-Man's dead is funny.
Yeah, he's coming. But they're telling
so
you.
like, no, he's not.
Yeah, but they're telling you that though. They're basically telling you all these characters are going to come back. You know that. They're not trying to pretend.
But it's not about that to me. Like to me, it's just about hitting certain emotional points. Like with Gamora, like I actually
that
really
didn't get you?
No,
Okay.
I actually because I actually really liked Thanos. Like I thought they did a really good job with the way he was written, and but those moments where people were actually dying, like it's not that I saw them coming. It's like the emotional moments didn't hit for me. Similar to like when Han Solo died.
Yeah, see, I would understand that for Force Awakens. It did get me in Avengers, especially Tom Holland's performance, because he's
great.
He's just a scared kid. He didn't know what was happening, and he played that because it was consistent throughout the whole movie, not just in the sadness parts and like the stuff where he just doesn't get everything. He's like, oh, we're calling each other by our superhero names.
Yeah.
Like
he's the one that got me.
You.
Nobody else did.
Okay. See, I got it when Groot went and Rocket, because another reason of consistency. Rocket, for the most part, is always cracking jokes, pretty hard in shell. So when he's like, no, Groot, no, like that got me. The way that they did it with Black Panther, when he is just, this is no place to die, and then he goes. It worked. Because of the past relationships with Bucky and Cap, because of how deep that relationship was, that he's the first to go and he's just up there.
But it's because of these other movies,
Correct.
more so than what's happening on screen.
Absolutely, so so that's the answer as far as the predictability and the emotion goes, because I've had all these other movies to where us hasn't had the luxury of setting up all these other movies to make me care and give them the right to say, okay, look, we're not going to do too much setup in this one because we've given you all the setup in these other movies. This has earned that to me. So this franchise. But as far as what I expect, them to come back, a time shift. There's some kind of time shift. Is it 11:30 already? I guess it's 11:30. It's almost 11:30. Okay, look, we're gonna go to break. They want us to go to break. We're gonna speak to. She is in Shazam. Marta Milans is here, and we're gonna talk to her. And once again, just let everybody know that we are going to be screening Shazam for you guys tomorrow, March 29th. Collider's hosting an IMAX screening of Shazam with the Q&A with director David Sandberg, Zach Levi. Head on over to Collider.com for details on how you can attend the screening. What happened?
He's being awesome.
I'm just enjoying this wide shot by myself.
Well, not anymore.
Remember to start doing your cushion thing.
We're gonna go to break. When we get back, we're gonna talk to Marta Milans about Shazam.
Hello there. No, it's not late to the party. That's actually from Obi-Wan Kenobi. You didn't know that? Well, you should, and now you do. Jedi Council, what is it? It's about Star Wars, obviously. It's Jedi Council. Every week, the latest and greatest in Star Wars movie news. Myself and Ken Knapsack, that's right, the pit boss himself. We have a guest on, and we talk about everything happening in the world of Star Wars. If it's the movie news, the TV news, canon news, comic books, games. And then we take questions from you guys on Facebook and Twitter. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. I'm still excited talking about it. The fan base is coming together again. I believe it is. I think it is. I hope it is. And we're talking Star Wars, so we'd like you. That's right, all of you. If you're not a fan of Star Wars, come on over and join us every Thursday for Collider Jedi Council here on Collider Video. And we have an Apple Podcast feed or Podcast One, wherever you want to go if you listen to podcasts. And not only do you get Collider Jedi Council every week on Thursday, The Rule of Two with Mark Fernandez and Mark Riley, that's on every week. I believe it drops on Wednesday. It's on one of these days. It's a good show. You should listen to it. I like it. I listen to it. I haven't listened to it once.
Hey guys, Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, which I hope you are, even if it's in secret, then you should be checking out Wrestling Sheet Radio Weekly. We've got a bunch of shows in the podcast feed. We've got weekly recaps from myself and John Roca, which you guys will probably know from the Collider family. That's for Raw, that's for SmackDown. We've also got the weekly roundup of wrestling news. It's a show I host called Wrestling Sheet Radio with Jamie Iovine and Elijah Bates. And we've also got a bunch of other stuff in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/wrestling sheet. So check it out, subscribe, and I hope you guys dig it.
Hey guys, Perry here to remind you to tune in for Collider Movie Talk every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 p.m. PT Live. We are live. We talk about movies. We answer your live Twitter questions. It's so much fun. We talk about everything from box office to all your favorite superhero movies. We talk about horror on a good day for me, and who knows, maybe even a spoonerism will happen. I don't know. That's what happens when you watch Collider Tuvi Mock, right? Are you going to watch? You better watch. Go watch now.
What's up, Collider fans? If you are a fan of television and you want to watch a guy that looks like me and a guy named Thad Williams talk about TV every single Friday, subscribe to the Collider channel. Collider Podcast is where you can find the video. We have our own iTunes feed, hashtag Collider TV Talk. You can find on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts and you listen to them in your ear holes. That's where Collider TV Talk comes at you. We talk about TV news. We talk about shows we love, shows that we don't love, and most importantly, we don't read any books because TV has nothing to do with reading. We also have a show called Hypothetical Questions with myself and Roxy Stryer and all kinds of reviews right here at the Collider Podcast channel and the Collider TV Talk feed. Subscribe, rate, like, tell your friends, tell all your friends and tell their friends, and before you know it, it's a pyramid scheme of television. I'm Josh McCouga. You can see Thad Williams and myself along with Roxy Stryer and all the Collider personalities all the time right here on Collider TV Talk. As always, put down the book, pick up the remote.
Hey guys, Riley here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. Rule of Two is a Star Wars podcast hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. It drops on the Jedi Council podcast feed every Tuesday. You like Star Wars? Good. I like Star Wars. And you know what we do? We talk Star Wars. And not only talking Star Wars, we celebrate Star Wars. We gave the Golden Lightsabers the best in Star Wars, best picture, best opening theme, best crawl, and all that good stuff. We celebrate the games of Star Wars. We do everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of debate and a lot of discussion thrown in the middle. So make sure you check out Rule of Two every Tuesday on the Collider Jedi Council podcast feed, on iTunes, and later on Collider Video. That's Rule of Two with Riley and Mark Fernandez every Tuesday. And may the Force be with you.
What I said was, don't you try to stay up with, because I know what you're going to do in Chicago. You're going to try to get everybody to come out on Friday night and stay out late.
Why Friday?
Because Saturday we got to do the show.
But why am I getting people out on Friday?
Because you're going to do it the whole weekend or the whole week.
Depends on how tired I am.
All right. Well.
Hi everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Marta here. Hello, Marta. Thank you for joining us. Please, Marta Mullins from Shazam. Shazam. Yes, please.
Bienvenida.
Yeah,
Bienvenida, gracias. Hello. Hola, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us today. I have to tell you that because I saw, obviously, and we knew Shazam was coming out, and we wanted to see, you get the big pitch of like, it's big for superhero movies. And what I did not expect, and I said this in my review, and I will say it to you, I did not expect to care so much I didn't know, you didn't even know about your character even existed.
Yeah.
You guys, the way that you set it up, it adds this bit of warmth, and it takes away from, because a lot of times, I believe in film, and foster families, they get a bad rap sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not the case here. You see what this family does. You see how they care. You see how they shape this whole dynamic of ultimately how Billy kind of warms up.
It's totally true, yeah.
You guys did such an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
And it worked. It absolutely worked. And I thought that you guys kind of stole a lot of those scenes. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I feel like, besides it being an amazing, superhero movie and having all the fun parts of that and the action stuff and, Zach flying around with a cape and all that stuff, which is awesome. And every time that I see it, I'm like, oh, wait, I am in a superhero movie?
Right.
I get to be in one of those scenes? But the reality and the beauty of the message, I think, is that what it transmits is the sense of family. And like my character and Cooper's character bring family to this kid who ultimately, the entire point of his journey is to find a home.
Right.
He's trying to find a home, trying to find his mom. And then when we present him with a home filled with love and crazy kids and from all over the place and all backgrounds and all ethnicities, then all of a sudden he's reluctant to it at the beginning, but he keeps coming back home. And I think not only is that so heartwarming and joyful, but also to all the kids out there in the world that actually feel like they don't belong or they don't have a home or they're orphans or they've been abandoned or they're not, they don't feel loved. To tell them, you know what, it's not the family that you're born into, it's the family that can be created, And I think people like Rosa exist in the world and
you're
make
right.
family.
I'm so glad you said that because I'd been kind of beating myself up. We had a guest on not too long ago, probably like 2 months ago, and we were talking, and I caught myself because what I had said was, because he was adopted, and he was talking, and I maybe met his birth parents a couple times, and I said, well. And I just asked him about his birth parents, but what I said, well, let's talk about your real parents. And in my head, I'm like, to him, that's not his real parents.
Yeah,
his birth parents were
biological parents,
but
yeah.